Hello, I hope that you are doing well. My name is Jeremy, and I wanted to do a video on things to consider to change the trajectory of your life in 2023 and beyond. I have my notes in front of me, and you may hear some noise in the background. People are already celebrating. First, I'll start off by saying in 2018, my journey of being the best version of myself started as a result of 28 years of trauma falling on top of me at one time. If it was not for a support system, therapy, and meditation, my life would not have changed drastically. I shed a lot of layers and facades and faces to really get to the core of who I was. And getting to the core of who I was allowed me to operate in a space of authenticity, and it allowed me to show up in a more favorable way throughout my life. And thus, these are the things that I will share with you after reflecting on that. Self-awareness is number one. Trust the process, allow it to unfold. Release to receive. Consistency over perfection, and purpose. So let's start with self-awareness. Self-awareness is recognizing that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. What do I mean by that? If you were to stand in the mirror, if you say the statement, I am aware that I am looking at myself in the mirror, it creates a disconnect. Awareness and self, right? I am aware that I am looking at myself. It's almost like you're a third-party observer who is watching you, your physical body, look in the mirror. That level of self-awareness is important because as life unfolds, as circumstances and people come into your life to mold and shape you, you need space in order to think before you react. Self-awareness is critically important. Another thing about self-awareness is it can only happen in the present moment. Well, what happens in the present moment? Not worrying about what you should be doing or what could happen, not worrying about what has happened or what you should have done, but what's happening right now. What's happening right now is you are hearing my voice. What's happening right now is you are possibly seeing me if you're watching this video. I can feel the warmth of the ring light. I can see how bright it is outside. I can smell the scented candle behind me. I can feel the texture of the carpet. Your senses are great focal points in the present moment. And thus, in order for you to be self-aware, pull yourself in the present moment, and then what you'll notice is quietness, right? You can't think about what could happen and or what has happened and be present. It just doesn't work that way. So self-awareness is critically important, but you have to be present-minded. The next thing is all about your intentions. What you put in life is what you get out of life. If I set an intention to be kind, then circumstances and people will come back to me without people realizing it as lessons disguised to help me to be kind, right? And that may show up in different ways, not obvious to being kind, but it triggers me in a way that bubbles up the things that need to come out to create the space for me to be kind, right? So in other words, I may go to work, find out that I'm getting a new manager and they are probably not the nice person in the world. That has nothing to do with you being kind, or me being kind, but what it does through self-awareness is it creates the space to act differently, right? And thus, through that space, you can show up differently and demonstrate kindness versus surviving and just reacting to a horrible manager. Next is all about life being full of mirrors. In that same scenario, your manager is a person that is a lesson to be learned. Really, they are a mirror that you should look at to say, what are you trying to reflect about me to myself? What do I need to learn and grow in order to be the best version of myself? When you are in a restaurant and things are busy and you're not getting catered to the way that you should, and you feel yourself getting very anxious and you want to be served, that is a circumstance that allows you to look inward. Now, it doesn't excuse poor operations, right? But it does give you the opportunity, if you're self-aware, to think and say, why am I getting riled up? Why am I getting upset? And to address it at the root. Next is all about giving yourself time to reflect. If you do not give yourself time to reflect, then you don't know the lessons that you've learned through circumstances and people to be the best version of yourself. And thus, self-awareness, being present-minded, and knowing that circumstances and people come to mold and shape you and act as mirrors, can only serve their intention when you give yourself time to reflect. You have to put your phone down, get off your iPad, get off your electronics, and dedicate 10-15 minutes to being present and saying, what have I learned? What are the things that life is trying to whisper to me? What am I asking from life, and how am I showing up? Next is all about mental and spiritual health. I think that mental health is a song and dance with life, right? Sometimes as life has a certain song, we get knocked out of rhythm, and it's advantageous to us to seek help from people that can help us find our rhythm. What do I mean by that? Sometimes going to a therapist is the tool that gives you resources to get back in rhythm with life. And it's okay, right? It happens. It is a part of the human experience. We're not born and are often not taught on how to deal with life unfolding. We're taught to survive, but not to really thrive through looking in between the spaces of circumstances and people. Your spiritual health, I look at that as, I should say, I manage my spiritual health through meditation. To me, meditation is creating the safe space to go to really deep places and be raw, honest, and vulnerable, very transparent. Take off everything and just say it how it is. It gives me the space to not feel judged and to see where I can improve and where I've made improvements in my life, and how my life is unfolding in a way that I like or don't like, and where I need to make changes. That's all about self-awareness. So self-awareness is critically important. Trust the process, allow it to unfold. Trust the process of life and allow it to unfold. Life is a big process. It literally consists of ins, outs, inputs, outputs. When you recognize that life is a process, you look at the outputs of your decisions, of your habits, and you say, self-awareness gives me the space to see, I don't like the outputs of my life. What do I need to change? What I'm putting into life. And that's why self-awareness, again, is so important, because it gives you the space to think. When life is happening, you have the ability to say, okay, how can I show up differently and put in something different to get something out other than what I have been getting? Trust the process of life and allow it to unfold. If I trust that what I put in is what I get out, then life will keep unfolding in a way that's favorable to me. It won't be easy, but it will be favorable, especially through self-awareness if you have the right intention. Releasing to receive. If we go through life without the space to grow, if we don't rid ourselves of people, places, things, materialistic things, ambitions, egos that take up a lot of space, then we will be weighted down and we will be what we have always been, and thus we will not grow. If that's your choice, then of course it's your choice. You live the life that you want to live, as we all have free will. I would just encourage you to reflect on how, if you're not happy with your current circumstance, there are things that are occupying space in your life that you must get rid of. If I want to be more kind and my environment and the people that are around me are not kind, then through self-awareness, I can see that input of having this environment and these people is giving me an output that I don't want, and thus I must release them in order to receive things that are going to allow me to make better decisions. Consistency over perfection. Nothing in life is perfect, but we can be consistent. If I am consistent in being self-aware, if I'm consistent in trusting the process of life and allowing it to unfold, if I am consistent with releasing to receive, then eventually I will get to the destination that I desire. Of course, we have to enjoy the journey, because that's where all of the flavor of life is. And we shouldn't be so focused on the destination that we lose track of the journey, but be consistent. It's okay for things not to unfold the way that you want them to unfold. That's how life is. It's chaotic, divine perfection. But be consistent, not perfect. And I talked to you also about purpose. And I will add to that gratefulness. Every day that you wake up, be grateful. Be grateful for waking up. Be grateful for your bed. Be grateful for your sheets. Be grateful for having a place to stay. Be grateful for the things that you do have, because that is an ingredient that acts as an input to get your outputs. If I show up being grateful every day, then the circumstances and people that come back to me will have an ingredient or the essence of gratefulness. And thus, gratefulness is critically important. Purpose is all about how you are to be of service to the collective experience with your lessons learned, your gifts, and your talents. The more that you honor your purpose in life, the more that life will rise up and conspire to help you. The more that life will bring about abundance in the form of opportunities, abundance in the form of things, abundance in the form of life experiences. Of course, through self-awareness, you now know to put inputs into life that you want out, and to trust the process, and then be willing to release things in order to receive. But you will, through consistency, live a life of abundance if you chase your purpose. I hope that what you take away from this video regarding changing the trajectory of your life is knowing how critically important self-awareness is. Self-awareness is what will change your perspective on life. And through trusting the process of life and allowing it to unfold, through releasing to receive, through choosing consistency over perfection and being grateful and chasing your purpose, your life will drastically change. Life wants to help you honor your purpose, right? Life wants to help you be successful. The things that we have been taught and conditioned to think, to achieve and to acquire things, takes the space necessary for our purpose to be the main portion of our life. But when we rid ourselves of those things, when we are self-aware and we see how things are unfolding, when we trust the process of life and allow it to unfold and remain consistent and not perfect, and be grateful in our every being, life will unfold favorably. Have a great day.